Okay, I want to talk a little bit about how my homeschool has changed over the years. So, when I first started, we had our cute homeschool room. We had the little colorful mats on the floor. I had a little chalkboard easel. I had all the art supplies, and I did lots of preschool hands on. I had all my sensory bins and tubs, and all of our hands on arts and crafts and things that we did together. Over the years, it has changed, and we've moved to a homeschool room where we have beanbag chairs for all of our read aloud time. Then we transitioned to where we had a giant table in the middle of our homeschool room with beanbag chairs around the outside for read aloud time, but my kids had places to sit and work. So they each had a spot at the table, and I could just rotate around the table and help them. So they were all working together at the same time, and I would just move around the table to help them because they were all young. They all needed my help. They all needed a lot of supervision, a lot of oversight during their school day. Well, then we transitioned away where they started using separate desks. So we broke our homeschool room table apart because it's one of those IKEA with the banks of drawers and the tabletop, so it can be transitioned into single desks or double desks. So for a while they had desks where they faced each other and they could work at their desks. And now we've taken it one step further. This is my new homeschool room. I don't have one. I don't have a homeschool room anymore. So my oldest is now a freshman. So for how many years? So many years, from preschool all the way up through her middle school years, I've had some form of homeschool room, a dedicated homeschool space where we did all of our schoolwork. But now that my kids are older and more independent, I'm finding it's not really necessary. And actually, my kids don't want to be in the same room and they don't want to be working together because they distract each other and they all have their own things that they work on. They are very much independent learners and want to do things on their own. So here's what my current homeschool setup looks like. Our old homeschool room has transitioned into an office for my two oldest children. So my freshman and my seventh grader are both upstairs in our old homeschool room, and they each have their own separate desk with computer and all of their books and everything with all their drawers all set up where they can work independently. Then my next two children, so my sixth grader and my fourth grader, have a separate desk in our study downstairs. So this is our home office room. They have it's like a giant craft table with a two-sided desk. So they have this giant craft table that they sit at, and they each have their computer and all of their drawers and all of their space. They have lots of cubbies in this big craft table where they have all of their books and supplies. So they sit facing each other at a giant craft table, and that is where they do their schoolwork because they have a lot that they do independently as well. Okay, then my second grader has her own space. So we have kind of a playroom slash library. It has a massive closet, and she has a desk in the closet. So I've got bookshelves, and she has a desk with her computer, and that is her quiet little space where she goes and does her independent work. So she has her quiet little corner in our playroom library. So she's right across the hall from her older sibling, so she's not by herself. So she can get help when she needs it, but she does have a quiet place to work. Then my preschool taught school children, they are 4 and 2. They don't have a separate area, although we do a lot of stuff in the library slash playroom with them. Their siblings also do a lot of school with them and often take them into the library to play with them and do Legos and blocks and read to them. So they don't have a separate desk or space. They do have a little table that they can use when they do their writing and their coloring, but they don't have a separate space. So when I do work with people, which I do work with all of my kids, not really my freshmen, not too much, but we meet on the couches in our living room. So they will bring what they need to do with me or things that they have questions about, and we will meet on the couch, and I sit on the couch and they just come to me. It's completely different from me just circling the table and helping them on the school day. Now they come to me and I just get comfy on the couch with my hot tea or my protein shake, and I sit there and I go through all of their school with them. So I do spelling with all of them. We use All About Spelling. My oldest has graduated All About Spelling, but my other kids are still using it. So they have their marker boards in a shelf that's in our living room, and they go get their marker boards and their dry erase markers and their erasers. They sit on the opposite couch. We have 2 couches that face each other. So they sit on the couch, and I call out spelling words, and they write them and show me their marker boards. And then I work with some of the other kids kids, I do math, so they sit next to me. We go through their math together. My second grader reads to me. We go through her reading. We use All About Reading, so she does her reading assignments with me, and then I help her with any of her assignments, her homework, her workbooks, whatever she needs help with. She just sits next to me on the couch, but I'm in the living room. I'm in the middle of the house, so I can see what's going on. I can keep an eye on my little ones as they play nearby. I'm close to the kitchen, so I can get them snacks because they always need snacks. That's a great way to keep them entertained and quiet for a few minutes. So I like that I'm close to that. But my homeschool room has now kind of become our living room. We have some great built-in shelves that now house a lot of our art supplies and books so that they can take them right to the kitchen table if they want to work. But I can sit on the couch and work with them. So now I have a comfy spot where I can sit with them and I can do their school. So now they come to me and we have a rotation where they come to me throughout the morning and I work with them, and then they go back to their desk to work independently. So it's kind of crazy how our homeschool has changed. It's very different from what it used to be, but I'm really happy with how it's changed because it's given me a lot of freedom back and a lot more time. So I'm now more a facilitator. I'm more kind of overseeing a lot of their work rather than directly instructing them in a lot of ways. So they are doing a lot on their own. So it's really exciting when you get to that point in your homeschool that you don't have a bunch of little tiny people that all need your attention all at the same time and are all interrupting you. I now only have 2 of those instead of all of my kids being that way. It's a little bit easier now that I have the older ones who can do a little bit more on their own, and it's exciting to see them be able to go and work and learn that responsibility, learn the time management to be able to work on their own. So I don't have a homeschool room anymore, and I will try to make a video where I give you a tour and kind of show you what our homeschool space looks like as we kind of have the different rooms set up and kind of what our day looks like. It's completely different than it used to. I don't even have my color-coded schedule. Everything is just much more flexible because my kids are able just to come to me when they need me, and I'm not having to put them on a schedule because they kind of have their own schedule and they do their work and they kind of have an order that they complete their assignments and they have their own checklist that they can work from. It is so different from how it used to be, but it is really nice. So there is hope if you're not there yet. You will get there. It does get easier as your kids get older. It has gotten so much easier for me, and I'm really thankful that I have spent a lot of that time setting that foundation with my kids and really helping them, getting them to be fluent readers, getting them really solid in math, even though there was just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears through teaching them to read and teaching them basic arithmetic. But once you get that mastered, they're able to do so much on their own. And it's really exciting to see my kids be able to just take ownership of their own education and spread out throughout the house. And I can just go and check on them in the different rooms. And then they bring their work to me and I can spot check it and see how they're doing and make sure that they're staying up with their checklists. But that's it. I can relax on the couch. They all come to me and they read to me and show me their work, and I get to sit there and supervise my little ones and then work with my older ones on a rotating basis. So it's nice. It's different, but I can't believe that I no longer have a homeschool room and I no longer have a homeschool schedule. 2 things that I thought I would need forever and ever, and I don't use either anymore. But it's nice. It's really freeing to have a different schedule and to have a completely different homeschool routine.